Hi, Hannah. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super excited to talk about your salon, Wild Roots Salon and Spa. So, tell us about that. This is the time of year where people start to kind of consider, the holidays are coming. It's time to primp. So, tell us, what is it that your salon provides?
We do a little bit of everything. We pride ourselves on being a one-stop shop. So we do hair services, we do skin services, nail services, waxing, eyelash extensions, hair extensions, pretty much you name it, we do it, which is very convenient for when you're in the chair and you want to add something on really quick. Most of the time there's someone available to do that for you.
That's awesome. And so is this just something that you decided to do out of thin air, or is this something you've always wanted to do? Like, how did you get into owning a salon?
So I have pretty much always known I've been one of the lucky ones since I was like 3 or 4 years old. I knew I wanted to do something with hair. I used to ask every year for like the Barbie heads that you could play with. And then my mom's friend owned a salon growing up. So she used to get me the real mannequin heads, and I would sit and play with them and braid them and style them for hours on end every night. A couple times I cut them and quickly realized that the hair does not grow back. And like before I could use chemicals, I would color them with Sharpies. I always did everybody's hair and makeup for prom, school dances, anything that you needed to get dressed up for. I was always the go to girl. And so I just kind of always knew that I wanted to do something in the beauty industry, which
Yeah.
is kind of funny because I'm probably the least girly person you will ever meet. So it's kind of weird how it all worked out, but I love it and I wouldn't trade it.
Sounds like you're dynamic and multifaceted, right? So maybe you don't exude feminism, but you look like you are very feminine, and now you love to, make people, beautiful and pretty for all events coming up. So you're very dynamic.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
try. I try to have a little bit of everything.
It's a good way to be. It's a good way to live for sure. So now if I go to your salon and let's say, because I was looking at your website and you have bridal services. So let's say I'm a bride, right? A bride to be, and I don't know. I just kind of have a vision, but I don't really know. I need guidance. How does your salon kind of help somebody, who's getting married to kind of, make the vision come to life?
Absolutely. So we have almost like a wedding concierge type service. It's actually my mother. We work together, and she is our wedding coordinator. She deals with all of the booking, the paperwork, the getting the dates figured out, who's going where, when. We have a few independent contractors that work with us. If it's like a bigger bridal party, we send a couple different artists so that we can make sure we stay on schedule time wise. But then going forward, so we decide we have the date available, you want to try out our services, we'll book you for a trial or a consultation. If you have no clue what you want, typically you'll come in for just a quick 15-minute consultation. We'll go over a couple different options, see if it's something that your hair is able to do or makeup wise. And then when you come in for your trial, that's when you kind of get to see the whole look put together. I like to have my brides come either on the day of their bridal shower, or if they're doing a dress fitting, come on the dress fitting day. So that way they can see the whole thing all put together. Or if they have a special event or something that night, because there's no reason to waste good glam. But so you'll come in, we will, most of the time, we'll sit down, we'll have a little quick conversation. I always say definitely 1,000% bring in some pictures of inspiration, show us what you're thinking. And then most of the time, there's a way to make it work with your hair. If we need to, we can add in some extensions, we can add in hair pieces, we can add on fake lashes, we can make it as natural or as glam as you want it to be. And the best part about a trial, I always book a little extra time because nobody ever fully knows what they want. So we'll sit down. I always say your hair will be a little bit frizzier at the trial because I don't want to shellac it to your head just in case we try the first style and you absolutely hate it. I want to be able to take it out and have the time to try a couple different options. Whether you don't know if you want it up or down, we'll try them both and you can see what you like the best.
Mm.
And then from there, if you're doing hair and makeup, you'll switch over to the next service, same thing. We'll try a couple different options and then you're good to go and you can see what it'll look like on the final day.
Ah, that's amazing. It's always good to see it come to fruition, instead of just like in your mind what you think you'll look like.
Exactly.
So it sounds to me
Yes.
like you really accommodate each individual person and try to customize the service to what that person particularly in particular wants.
Absolutely. And then from there, my mom goes over everything with you. She sends out a little like wedding day prep package, kind of tells you what you should have done with your hair and your skin before the big day. She sends out info for all of the bridesmaids. We'll send you a quick screenshot of the schedule that we have planned so everybody knows when and where to be in the chair and make sure we stay on time so that you're ready when you should be that day, because I know it can be a little stressful. So having a timeline definitely helps. She handles all of the payments, and everything else is all on her because I do more of the hair side of things versus the paperwork.
The beautifying, yes.
Yes,
My mom's the
exactly.
same. My mom, in my business, she still does my books, right? So I do the service. I'm
Yeah,
the face of the business. And then, her, she does like the number crunching for me because it's just something that
right.
I don't want to do. And she's really great at. And boy, oh boy, it makes a good team. So it sounds like you and your mom are doing the same thing.
Absolutely. She is a retired teacher of 35 years, so she has the very like type A organized brain, whereas I'm like a little more scatterbrained on the business side of things, but I am good with all of the hair and makeup stuff. So she
Yeah.
keeps me on track.
That's great. And so you have the experience from, 3 or 4 years old, but like what is your professional experience? So how did Wild Roots come to be?
So I have many licenses. I hated school, which is really funny because once I started in hair school, I never wanted to stop learning. So I graduated high school, and in high school, I actually did 2 years of a cosmetology program, which ended up counting towards some of my hours in my actual hair school. So I did about a year of hair school, and then I graduated, and I graduated in June. That next September, I went right into aesthetics school. So that's skincare. And then aesthetics, right after I graduated that, I believe 2 or 3 weeks later, I started barbering school. And it was kind of cool because I already had my cosmetology license. They do what's called a barbering crossover program. So I didn't have to do the full length of the schooling and all the book work that I had already done. It was more just the hands on and learning to do everything with the straight razor, more detailed, shorter haircuts, that kind of stuff. And then I decided I still wasn't done learning. So I took a week long microblading certificate class for like the tattooed eyebrows. I took a couple independent classes for dermaplaning. I do lash extensions. I kind of do it all,
That's
which is fun
great.
because I couldn't just do the same thing all day long. My brain doesn't work that way, so it's so nice to be able to switch up my days. I'll do a couple haircuts and then I'll do a facial and then I'll do some hair color and then I'll do another spa service, and it's so fun just to be able to switch back and forth.
Yeah. So I love what I'm hearing you say is that you are kind of accommodating this business to work best for how you function in life. And in return, it's successful for you because you get to, have a wide variety of modalities that you are educated and licensed in doing. And then you're able to provide so many more services for a wider variety of clients. So you are a smart
Absolutely.
cookie. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like being able to, I can do mom's hair, I can do your kid's hair, I can send your husband in, I can do his hair, and then we'll add on some nails and some waxing, and everybody's happy.
And beautiful. And so now you said barbering. So, like I go to, a salon, but my son goes to a barber. What's the difference outside of like what's obvious? Like one has more of like it's a more of a male-centric, clientele, and the other one's more female, centric. So what are some of the differences from your professional perspective?
So in the terms of like technical licensing requirements under being a cosmetologist, you can do haircuts, you can use hair chemicals, all of that kind of anything that you a typical hairstylist would do. Becoming there's a couple different barbering options. So if you're just I think they call it barber one, you can do haircuts, you can do the straight razor shaving, but you can't use chemicals.
Mm,
And the program I did, I became a master barber. So I can do haircuts, I can use chemicals, and I can also use the straight razor. So the biggest difference between cosmetology and barbering for me was the ability to use the straight razor to clean up like your neck, your beard, hairline, all of that kind of stuff. Um, and then doing more of the straight razor focused services.
mm. Okay, so it sounds like the whole family should just have like, a Saturday afternoon at Wild Roots, mom, dad, child, friends.
Exactly. We will have you all.
And so what is microblading? What is that?
So microblading is a type of cosmetic tattoo. It is permanent to a certain extent. It will fade over time because the pigments aren't quite as intense as if you got a regular tattoo. But there's a couple different options. Basically, it sounds really crazy, but we take like a teeny tiny little scalpel and dip it in cosmetic pigment and we draw individual eyebrow hairs on. So you can change the shape if you have like mine are microbladed and this eyebrow has no hair from like halfway down. So now it looks like I have hair and it just makes you feel a little bit better. You wake up feeling put together. We used to, anytime we would go somewhere before I had it done, I have a 10-year-old stepdaughter and she would be like, "Are you going to go draw on your eyebrows before we leave?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. Thank you for asking." So now I don't have to do that because I wake up with eyebrows every day.
Yeah, yeah. It's so important to go out in the world and feel confident about like how you're presenting yourself and we're all so hard on ourselves too, right? And so, the more time we spend in front of the mirror doing all of these primping things that you're talking about, like drawing on eyebrows, it kind of, I mean, from my perspective, like it takes a step back almost, because now I'm like pointing out maybe the flaws that I have to correct to go out into the world and feel confident. And so it sounds like microblading is something that like you're addressing something that might be, a lack of confidence, but you're, putting your best face forward, moving forward, and not allowing yourself to take the time to analyze it every day, right? It's just done. And so now you have time to feel confident from baseline, right? Instead of have to like build up the
Exactly.
baseline by painting on the face. So that sounds like I need to make an
Exactly.
appointment with you.
Right?
Yes.
You know where to find me. I I'll do like a lash lift and tint so it looks like my eyelashes have a little bit of something on them. My eyebrows are microbladed, so from the second I wake up, I already feel like a little bit more put together than I would before, and I have no problem doing school drop off and then running into the grocery store real quick and not worried about who I'm going to run into because my eyebrows aren't drawn on.
Yeah.
So I call it like a high maintenance things that I do to be low maintenance.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because I think
Right?
so often too, like nowadays, we try really hard to make it look like we haven't done anything, right? So that's the reality of being a
Exactly.
woman, right? We all try to make it look like we're not wearing any makeup. We just woke up like this. But like for the majority of us, I mean, I'll say safely that I'm one of those people. It does take time to make yourself look just a little bit more polished. So yeah, do the high maintenance things to look low maintenance, right? So I
Right.
like how you're doing. I like how you put that. So okay,
Thank
so
you.
you are Wild Roots. You were you in this salon service before Wild Roots? Did you just come right out of
Yes.
school?
So I graduated school, and the salon that was formerly Wild Roots, I worked there for 5 years. I believe I told them in my interview, I said, in 5 years, I want to be my own boss. And I ended up leaving right before my 5 year anniversary within days. And I started working for myself, booth renting. I rented a spa room and a hair chair. And I did that in Bedford for about 2 years. And then I worked at another salon. I took over and actually owned my very first salon in Milford, just to kind of test the waters. It was just me and one other girl, and I met her from working at the former salon. And we worked together for probably another 2.5 years. And I was helping the salon that was previously Wild Roots. I was helping them with a couple bridal wedding trials this year, and I happened to be there one day. The former owner was there, hadn't seen her in probably close to 5 years, and we just got to talking, catching up, and she mentioned that she wanted to retire soon. And I was like, well, I live in
Mhm.
Merrimack. I have always wanted to own a huge salon and spa. That's been my life's goal. And so I said, if nobody else is interested, or if you haven't heard of anything yet, let me know if you're ever going to put the salon up for sale because I might be interested. A few weeks pass, I get a call. Hey, I'm ready to retire. I think I want to do this. Her daughter was working for her at the time and she didn't want to take over. So it ended up, hey, if you want this, it's yours and let's do this. And it happened so fast. It was probably like a 48-hour turnaround. We met on a Friday afternoon and I signed the papers Monday morning.
That's
And that
amazing.
became Wild Roots. So it was very like full circle. I met my husband at her daughter's wedding through working there before. So it's all the same friend group. We still talk to each other all the time, but it's kind of just crazy how everything worked out. And I'm right back where I started.
How funny, but now you're at the helm of the ship, right? So you were an
I
employee, now
am.
you are the employer. You are so
Yes.
incredibly ambitious with very specific goals. Wow.
Yes.
You're very
I
inspiring.
Thank you. My parents say I'm the world's biggest procrastinator, but if I give myself a deadline, I will get it done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right before my wedding, it was probably a week before, I didn't have flowers yet, and I was like, "Don't worry about it, it's fine." Like 3 days before, I'm sitting in the kitchen floor putting together all my bouquets and corsages and boutonnieres and everything, but hey, it got done because I
Yeah,
gave myself a deadline.
there you
So
go.
I like to set big goals and make them happen.
Yeah, that's so obvious. That's amazing. So I think that you're really a big inspiration for a lot of young female entrepreneurs who have an idea, right? But like, the idea of like how to manifest that, vision to make it come to fruition, then to sustain it, right? So that's like the really big, clincher there is, it's one thing to have a vision and manifest it. It's another thing to sustain it and watch it grow. So you're doing that,
Absolutely.
with continuing
I
education.
actually just found in an old notebook of mine, I just found a paper that I had written down like a manifestation thing. It said, I will own a large, successful salon and spa. One of the things on there was that my mother was going to work with slash for me, and another was that I was going to be on a podcast. So we're hitting it. We're hitting it all.
There you go. That's amazing, Hannah. That's so amazing. So, okay, so you have an upcoming event with the chamber. What is that? And let us know what it's about, what we can expect, what the date is, and the time.
So we are doing, it will be November 13th at 4 o'clock. We are going to do a big grand opening red ribbon cutting, just to kind of say we're here, we're ready for you. We have gotten all of our steps in place. We are smooth sailing now, and we're ready to take on the town of Merrimack and help you guys all out. So if you're around that day, we would love to see you. I'm real excited to use the big, huge scissors, so should be fun.
And what a great way. People should go because like we're getting into holiday season, right? So there are holiday parties, people are going away on vacation, people are, going to, hide from the upcoming cold weather season. So they're going to need pedicures for their flip-flops in the Caribbean, right? So this is a great opportunity for people to come into your salon and spa and then book appointments. Can they book appointments that day while they're there?
Absolutely, you sure can. We always have appointments available. You can either call us or text us, which is really convenient. If you call us, you'll speak to one of our front desk people and they will be able to help you out. You can go online to our website and there's a button that says book now that you can book an appointment online, which is super convenient because everybody's schedules are so all over the place now with kids and sports and clubs and work schedules being crazy. So booking online is super convenient. And you can always reach out to your stylist directly or any of our stylists. We're all on social media, and they can take care of that for you as well.
That's amazing. So, one last thing before I want to touch on one more thing that you had talked about the other day that's really important before we wrap up and find out where we can find you. But you talked about self-care. So, tell me about that and how can Wild Roots kind of cater to people taking better care of themselves regularly?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the world is moving at an extremely fast pace right now. It's just the cycle of life that we're in. Everybody's so go, 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 got to get it done. having kids, having families, the holidays coming up are super stressful. So I think it's so important to take time for yourself and be able to just go somewhere and relax, whether that's, coming in every 8 weeks to get your hair colored. And hairstylists are kind of like a therapy visit, and anything that you say in the chair stays with us. And you can tell us anything. We're not here to judge you. We're here to help you, make you feel better about yourself. If it's as little as coming in and just having someone else wash your hair, blow it out and style it for date night, or coming and getting a pedicure. We have a ton of people that come in all year round, even though their toes aren't going to be in sandals, because it just makes them feel a little bit more put together having their nails done. Coming in and getting a facial, we get a ton of spa day packages that husbands usually buy for their wives around the holidays, because it's an easy thing. She's going to relax and enjoy it. And it's just so, I feel like with the chaos of everything right now, especially going into the holiday season, it is more important than ever to carve out a little bit of time for yourself to just take a moment and treat yourself to something nice.
Yeah, yes. I know. Carve out a little time for yourself. Like that's my big takeaway from all of this
Yeah,
is, if there
absolutely.
was a bumper sticker at the end of this podcast, it would be like carve out a little time for yourself,
Yes,
right? We don't do
yes.
that enough.
Even the people at the salon, me and my employees, we will, if we have downtime, I'll be like, hey, you want to wash my hair real quick? Just because it's so much nicer to have someone else do it than having to do it
Yes.
yourself. When you're taking care of yourself at home, it almost feels like a chore. But when
Mm.
you come in, we have a super relaxing environment, and we always have some fun music going. And it's just so nice to pamper yourself, even if it's for as little as like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Having your hair washed by somebody else is just a very magical experience. And like while they're brushing your hair and blowing it out, it's just like, I don't know, it's a little meditative, isn't it?
Absolutely. It sure is. Yeah. It's like a refresh and recharge.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Hannah. So where can we find you?
We are located in Merrimack, New Hampshire. We are at 22A Greeley Street. We are directly off of exit 11, right across from the Common Man. We're super convenient location to get through from the highway from Daniel Webster. So we are there. And then you can find us online at nhwildroots.com. You can find us on Instagram at nhwildroots, or you can call us at 603-424-8826.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really
Of
appreciate
course.
it. This was
Thank you so much
wonderful.
for having me on. One of
Yeah.
my dreams checked off my list.
Check. I'm glad I could facilitate that. That's
I
wonderful.
appreciate it. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Take care, Hannah. Bye-bye.
Bye.